My psychotic mother showed up to my brother's wedding uninvited and tried to destroy our lives after years of no contact. It turns out that my brother's fiancé was behind it all. My mother has spent our entire lives being extremely nasty towards our dad, as well as my brothers and I. Things were already bad with her, but after she got caught cheating and my parents were given shared custody, my mother went insane. She was so much meaner alone than when Dad was present, and whenever we were over at her house, we walked on eggshells. She was very rude and hurtful, and we used to dread the days we'd have to spend at hers. We'd get grounded over nothing, told to stay in our room and only come out for food or a drink, and she strictly forbade calls or texts with our dad when we were over. Things were already terrible. But when Dad remarried, she lost the plot. She went psycho, showing up to my dad's house unannounced, demanding to be let in, started stalking his wife both in real life as well as social media, and made it her personal mission to make Dad's wife's life a living hell. Unfortunately for everyone but her, a terrible workplace accident occurred, and my dad's wife lost her life. My mother was delighted, literally taking us on a trip to celebrate this accident. This proved to be a huge mistake on her end because Dad found out about this. He used this on top of all the things previously mentioned to gain full custody of me and my two brothers. For years, we didn't see her, and we were all ecstatic about this. But then, she found a way to weasel back into our lives. You see, my brother Sam dated a girl named Daniela, who never understood why our mom was cast from the family. She knew about the past we had with her, but even then refused to see our point, because family always sticks together. She fully believed we dramatized everything our mother did to us and begged my brother to reconcile with her. Well, he shut her down every time. But then their wedding happened. My other brother Joe and I arrived early on the day of, and in the church I found none other than my mother sitting at the very front. I felt sick to my stomach and called my brother Sam, who also panicked and called Daniela, explaining to her what was happening. That's when she dropped the bombshell that she invited our mother. Upon hearing her say this, Sam hung up and asked me to pick him up whilst Joe dealt with things at the church. And what he did is nothing short of spectacular. He says he stood up in front of everybody and told them Sam was not coming, and to please go home, and all their gifts delivered to our side of the family will be given back ASAP. Daniela was still outside the church when someone in her family informed her, and she started screaming and crying and calling Sam nonstop. Mom tried to talk to Joe, but he didn't even look at her. And when she couldn't get a reaction out of him, she started crying loudly and lamenting how horrible we are to her. Some people started consoling her. This is her M.O. But Joe and his wife didn't care. When they went out of the church, Daniela was expecting them and demanding to see Sam. But Joe said no. Then she demanded to know what to do with the party, and he said if she didn't want the venue, he would arrange for the food to be donated to the staff there so it wouldn't go to waste. Everybody was screaming except Joe, because he didn't want to give Mom this satisfaction. All this was happening whilst me and Sam went home and barricaded ourselves. It didn't take long for Daniela and her entire family, including my mom, to show up at my door and scream at us to be let in and to reason with them. We managed to get them away, however, after threatening to call the cops. Daniela's parents threatened to sue for the money they paid if he doesn't marry her, but Sam said he would rather pay them back for their contribution than marry someone that betrayed him. As far as Daniela goes, she didn't apologize. She even went so far as to text Joe that she thought it would be a good wedding present from my brother to her, since she values family. About a day went by, and out of nowhere, Sam told me he was going to talk to Daniela and her parents today. I was wondering why, but it turns out she sent videos and photos of all his things on the floor to his best friend Tom and told him that Sam either talked to her or she would burn and destroy it all. Tom came to visit Sam and told him what happened. Tom, Joe, a couple of cousins, me and my boyfriend all went and took his clothes, electronics, and important paperwork. The meeting was, for lack of a better word, a ridiculous event. She came with her parents and sisters, tried to talk to Sam alone, but when he didn't allow it, she just started talking. Not once did she apologize. She said it's not her fault we don't understand the value of a real family, and we were raised to hate mothers. That her only intention was for Sam to learn to value mothers because she was scared he would take her children away from her, because that is what he was taught to do. Sam didn't say anything. This family's like a cult and you are a terrible father, looking at my dad. As you may imagine, this is a sore spot for all of us, and we don't allow insults towards our dad under any circumstance. Sam just unloaded about how she was a hateful liar. He was disgusted he ever touched even her hand. He was grateful to the universe that Joe and I are chronically early to everything. He told her staying with a cheating husband, as her mom does, is nothing to be proud about. He said she pretended to be nice just so he would marry her, unloaded all the minor things that he was willing to overlook because he truly did love her, or at least who he thought she was. He said he would never forgive her for the hurt she caused his siblings, but he doesn't hate her because that would require him to spend energy thinking about her. And she doesn't get that. At the end, he said she had enough time to clear things, and since she has acted like a victim, he will be the one to let everybody know why he didn't show. It was brutal, but cathartic and necessary for Sam. Her parents said nothing, but were very red. She was crying. Her sisters attempted to defend her and their parents' relationship and were kind of expecting my whole family to argue too, but we didn't. Then Sam told his ex-father-in-law he could sue if he wanted, but if he did, Sam would expose all his family's dirty laundry to the world, and he doubts he wants that. Amazingly, the dad still argued. Sam could try and make amends and marry his ex because they are not getting any younger. And all families fight. I've never rolled my eyes harder. The rest of the meeting went about logistics for the return of the wedding gifts already received, stopping the harassment from their family, the cancellation and refund of the honeymoon, and the changing of the locks. X just kept crying and trying to talk to Sam, but he was in business mode and didn't want anything from her. He only replied to her directly when she said she was keeping her engagement ring with nobody asked for it. They left without issues. Things were calm for one whole day. But then Mom paid our house an unexpected visit. She said she just wanted to talk to me and my brothers, and my dad asked her to leave. She kept screaming he raised us wrong and we just embarrassed her with our behavior. She couldn't believe we were such bad people and we should start making amends with her because we clearly lack maternal love. She got that right, and this was the pathetic result. At that point, Joe went out and told her to leave since the police were on their way. She took it as an opportunity to cry since it's the first time in about a decade he talked to her, and she tried to sweet-talk him into going to grab dinner with her and her husband, but Joe just told her to leave. And the only news he ever wanted to hear related to her were the ones about her funeral so he could go celebrate. Cue hysterical crying and screaming from the husband, demanding an apology and threatening to lay hands on Joe. Dad and Joe went back inside and left them there until we saw they left and closed the gate. Dad wasn't exactly proud of what Joe said, but he understood he needed to let it out, and he was speaking for all of us. Maybe that makes us bad people, but we truly don't want to see this woman ever again. We spent the rest of the day having horror movie marathons and some Disney classics sprinkled here and there. We also had a drama bingo thing going on of all the things that could possibly happen, because I guess we are truly dramatic after all. We love each other and we're raised to treat people well, but we can be petty when pushed. You see, while the rest of that specific day, the entire next week was a complete and utter crap show. Daniela posted online that she was pregnant, and it's Sam's. People were freaking out again and calling Sam asking him if it was true. Sam called her and asked that she delete it. She continued claiming she was pregnant. He asked her to delete it and to come talk about it. She deleted it, met up with Sam, and somehow this crazy woman thought he wanted her back. I went with Sam. She was very happy until she saw me enter the place. She started crying, holding her stomach, and when Sam asked her if she really was pregnant, she said yes, and told him she didn't want her child to be from a broken family. Sam told her they were going to the doctor immediately to know for sure, and she cried even more, screaming he didn't trust her. Long story short, she isn't pregnant, But she posted Sam was forcing her to terminate the pregnancy, and she was devastated. As you may imagine, this was a horrible thing to say. People were calling Sam because they are so whiplashed from the drama they don't know what to believe anymore. When my sister-in-law, Joe's wife, Anna, found out about the posts and the meeting, she called Daniela. She ripped into Daniela, calling her every name in the book and telling her how low of a person she must be to stoop to the fake pregnancy tactic online, to try sway the opinions of random people her way. That if this was truly the way she was all along, then Sam is a million times better off without her, and that she is no different than our mother. She told her that she is glad that her pregnancy was fake, because if she actually brought a child into this world, that child's life would be nothing but misery. The posts are now down, and Anna even wrote an email with all relevant information about our mother, as well as including that Daniela was never pregnant, and sent it to everybody in the wedding list. The very next morning, we heard Daniela had a breakdown after leaving voicemails telling Sam if she couldn't be with him, she wanted to pass away. This is another tactic straight out of our mother's playbook, and Sam simply called the police and told them what happened. Her family forced her into therapy, and she is in observation right now. Well, things didn't end there as our mother emailed Anna threatening to sue her for defamation regarding the email blast. Thing is, Anna's parents are amazing, and they made it perfectly clear they are on our side and 100% agree with the way she handled things. Joe was enraged, but Anna convinced him to let it go and simply move on. However, for some positive news, our family did have a get-together at home, and it was a lot of fun. There was karaoke, dancing, nice food and drinks, games, and bouncy house, because why not? Most people avoided the topic of the wedding and the posts, but those who brought them up did tactfully. Everything was kind of calm for a while, and Sam started doing better. He lived with Dad, started running now, and has decided to run a marathon next year. He became more and more his goofy self and started doing renovations at home. Daniela wrote him a letter, but he sent it back. Also, as a side note, Joe and Anna have been on the adoption list for a while and were finally given a baby. She is the most beautiful, sweet baby ever. The adoption is final, as it usually is in our country for newborn or almost newborn babies. We knew they wanted to adopt for a while, so when they told us about the baby being officially theirs, it was a lot of crying, but happy crying. Dad is in full grandpa mode, and even as bad as some things got this year, this is the best thing that happened to our family in years. Well, unfortunately, Mom did learn about the baby and demanded an introduction, but unlucky for her, she has been served our version of an order of protection. She's never putting her eyes on her if we can help it. This order of protection very much eased a lot of the nerves we had surrounding the entire situation. But then came something we were not prepared for. Daniela came back with a swing, stating she is pregnant and claims to whomever would listen, Sam is the dad. The thing is, she is actually pregnant this time. Sadly for her, it is literally impossible for him to be the father, since he was not even in the country when the baby would have been conceived. But she had no way of knowing that. Sam has offered repeatedly to have a paternity test done, but she refuses. Sam is safe legally. He just feels bad for her baby. Also, Daniela's dad did sue Sam for emotional distress, but little did they know that Joe was actually a lawyer. Thing is, Sam decided not to do anything against him since he has too much on his plate and feels pity for the family. The case was also an easy slam-dunk win for Sam, and Joe informed Daniela's dad of this. And believe it or not, our mother still insisted on meeting Joe and Anna's baby. But when not allowed, once again showed he true colors. She undusted one of her favorite tactics. She has cancer. She contacted Joe and Anna through their work emails and begged them to help out with meeting baby since she is so sick. Most likely would need a transplant. You see, this is the 5th time she has cancer, but in reality, she has had cancer a total of 0 times. She just loves the attention, the suffering, the drama, and all that good stuff bad people like to bring out of others. We never believed her, of course, but what we didn't expect was that she would make a fool of herself when she contacted Anna's mom, Rita, on Facebook. Anna's mom is a lovely religious lady, so Mother must have assumed she would be easy to manipulate. She told her about her cancer and how heartbroken she was to not meet baby. Anna's mom proceeded to ask a couple questions about the diagnosis and treatment, and our mom claimed that she had cancer in her body. Not an area of her body, just her body. So Rita blocked her and posted the screenshots of her wall. Otherwise, the baby is very happy and healthy. Sam is now doing really well. He quit his job and started something on his own. He's still living at the family home, renting the other house, and even seeing someone. She is nice, knows about all the stuff, makes amazing cakes, knows how to knit. We like her, so we are both positive and cautious. They are taking it slow, but it is nice to see him with someone like this. Our mother has actually disappeared off the radar and is no longer bothering us after Anna's mother embarrassed her. Daniela and her family are no longer pressing the issue either.